What exactly is green economy in the context of sustainable development? This was one of the major themes debated at Session 2 of the preparatory meetings of the UN's Conference on Sustainable Development, held at UN headquarters on Tuesday, where experts and UN delegates voiced their concerns, needs, and assessments on what is required to advance sustainable development, as well as building an institutional framework for sustainable development to eradicate poverty.
If the goal is for each and every country, in particular developing countries, to achieve sustainable development, then I don't think that one can get there by ignoring the greening of one's economy. That is, moving from the traditional fossil-based inputs to an economy to more what we would generally term renewable aspects, wind and solar and water and hydro. So I think within that context, it is possible for us to achieve sustainable development, and greening of one's economy will be an essential plank.
Experts noted that there is no one-fits-all policy when it comes to sustainable development. Representatives from various countries spoke out on country-specific issues, as well as issues facing indigenous populations and those of the least developed countries. 1.5 billion people in the world live without electricity. Experts voice that to speak of the concept of green economy to these populations is a moot point. Other items included concerns in urban development, where an expert on urban dimensions noted that the 2% of the land occupied for urban areas produces 80% of the world's carbon emissions.
I think what Rio Plus 20 really needs is a framework for the next 20 years, the roadmap to Rio Plus 40. And what that includes, I think, is that we have a less cluttered system, which means we have less treaties, not more, by consolidating treaties. We have a stronger UNEP, and we have a much more robust CSD, the Commission for Sustainable Development. And most importantly, I think what we need to shift our focus from making new treaties to implementing existing ones. We have made a lot of these international commitments, and especially for developing countries, they want to start looking at implementation and real results.
The goals of the Rio Plus 20 conference to be held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in May 2012 are to address new and emerging challenges facing sustainable development, assessing progress and implementation gaps, and securing renewed political commitment for advancing global sustainable development. Even though a clear definition of green economy is still being tabled, it is clear that green economy will be a useful tool in advancing sustainable development in social, economic, and environmental aspects that will directly impact the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals and climate change mitigation. Afaf Kanja, South South News, United Nations.